suspension and enhancement of the open meeting law requirements by Governor Baker. The first item on the agenda is announcements, open session, and public comments. Please note that public comments must be brief. The board will not deliberate or vote on any matter raised solely during announcements and public comments. Do we have anything? Helen, go ahead. Good evening, Helen.
You have your hand raised, Helen.
Yes.
And you're on mute.
There you go.
I'm not. To remind you all of the announcement that Hillary sent to us on May 27th, which is a Thursday from 7 to 8:30 p.m., there is a State Board of Health event about the right to farm, and that would be probably good for any one of us to go to, just in terms of understanding better what it is. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? No, not seeing anything. Okay, on to business here. Annual town meeting warrant discussion and placement, or budget discussion. I think, Harry, do you want to deal with the operating budget stuff first?
No, I would like to, with the board's permission, clear away once and for all what is going to be in this warrant and what's not going to be in this warrant.
Okay, let's go through it. Can we bring the warrant up on the screen?
I don't know whether you've made any changes to it since I sent it to you, Rebecca.
I just put in the tax information that Charlie helped me with.
Okay, well, do you want to pull it up or would you like me to?
Sure, I'll do it. Hang on one second.
Okay.
Okay.
So down around in the neighborhood of Article 20 is where the wastewater things fall. And there are two of those. Yeah, okay, so Article 20 is one that was, I put in there for discussion purposes, but I do not believe the board's actually voted on putting that back in.
Nope, it's a different article. It's only $50,000.
Right.
Before we get into any discussion, can we just sort of take a straw poll about whether we're willing to place this? Because I'm willing to place this. Okay, can we just move then? Can I have a motion to place the wastewater commercial street, or I'll move. I move to place a wastewater commercial street PRB hydrological assessment and engineering article on the 2021 town meeting warrant.
Second.
Roll call.
Mike, hold on. So in one of the draft look at, you want the whole title of what a PRB is in the title of the article. Okay.
There's no time for this.
Helen, all these edits you're submitting are unnecessary.
Okay, there is no time for this. We have to act. And if you need to get up at town meeting and say what a PRB is, you can do that.
Okay, but Ryan sent out a draft that included that. So I'm not sure.
Helen, it says right under
okay.
word, Helen. It says permeable reactive barrier right in the text. If people can't read to the second sentence, then maybe they shouldn't be voting.
I don't have that attitude towards our voters, but never mind, continue.
The only thing I would say is, Harry, if you can modify the language so that there is flexibility on the cost, like the other borrowing articles have been done.
Up to it says not to exceed.
Yep.
It says that in there already. Harry already did it.
Well, it says not to exceed. Are you suggesting it should say or any other sum?
Yes.
Okay,
just to cover our bases.
Okay, as amended. Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Christina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, I.
Helen, I.
Okay, can I have a motion? I move to recommend said article.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Christina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, I.
Helen, I.
Okay, motion carries 5-0 to place and recommend. Okay, next one, Harry.
next one I think is the IA septic. That's not in the draft right now, unless, I don't believe that's in the draft yet. I got that in the mail.
Yeah,
I got different emails. I got one from Kurt, one from Justina, and one from Ryan. So somebody's got to pick one.
Be Justina's.
Okay.
It should be Kurt's. I
Oh, all right.
I had a conversation with Scott Horsey yesterday. I said to him that personally, I would like to see in there, in the summary, that the town would be using these funds to apply for other grant funds from that are available to fund the projects, and that this would be a way to access those funds. So
and
that-
Harry, if I did it correctly, the version that I sent you should have been the same version that Kurt sent you.
Well, hang on. Let me just.
So I haven't received that version, so
It is the version that I sent around to the select board.
the summary is the only thing that changed, I believe.
Yeah. Ryan, the version I sent to the select board was the version that Mike was talking about.
It was just a change in the summary
okay.
to include some language about
Yeah, it didn't have much change.
other funds.
Okay, okay. I have that attachment to the email, so I can show it if you want to take a look at it.
I don't care because I've seen it, but if somebody else wants to see the summary, it doesn't matter to me. But Hillary has her hand up. Harry, if you want to put it up while Hillary says whatever.
Okay, so Rebecca, you have to stop sharing. You have.
You're all set.
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, where is my? Oh, come on. Sorry, folks.
Oh, that's okay. I'm going to call on Hillary while you bring that up.
Please.
Go ahead, Hillary.
I just want to make sure that we can tap into that money without a grant if someone is in need of a septic upgrade and they're willing to go for the enhanced IA right off the bat
Right.
with the language that we're putting in there.
Okay, let's make sure it's right then. That was the intent
Okay,
that I expressed to Scott, that it could be used to apply for matching grant funds or
yes,
something of that sort. Yeah.
okay, great.
Okay, well, here's the language from Justina's email.
Okay. Can we go to them to the summary a little
Mike,
bit?
is that the language that you worked on?
I didn't work on any language. I just told Scott that I would like to see in there that it could be, that it will be used to, that it will be utilized in some way to apply for other funding sources. I can't remember the exact words. And in the summary down below, Harry.
Yeah, it says this authorization would enable the town to seek grant sources.
That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
it.
okay,
so
good.
that had the tweak you wanted.
Yeah, I just think it's important that people know that there's other funding out there and that the money's going to be used to go after other money. Ellen?
Okay, and Harry, that should be the only version that you need.
Okay, so this is the version we're focused on. Okay,
Okay, Helen.
Yes, I sent all of you a proof edited version of this. And for example, I and A is not what the state calls an innovative / alternative system.
Oh, Helen.
Yeah, and you know what?
The-
It would have been very easy to look at that. This language,
Helen, it doesn't matter, Helen.
it
It's-
does, because that's not what it's called, and it's so easy to change.
It says innovative and alternative septic. That's what.
That's
they're
not
called.
what the state calls it.
Oh, my God.
fix it in the motion.
Yeah, Helen, I just think all these copy edits are totally unnecessary.
Okay, put it in the warrant, any way you want.
It's just, I am out of bandwidth to do anything more than what I'm telling you what I can do.
Me too.
I'm telling you what my capacity to finish this project is. And, if you want more than that, I might not be able to give it to you.
Well, we don't want you to go away from it.
Okay. So
Okay, so
here is
can
a
I have a motion?
proposal. Does it meet with the board's approval?
Yes,
Yes.
I move to place, I'm just gonna do two separate votes so we don't get caught up in them in the thing. I move to place the enhanced septic system upgrade program on the 2021 town meeting warrant.
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, aye.
Helen,
Motion
aye.
carries Helen, aye. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Jump the gun. I'm trying to get this done so quick. Okay, I move to place said article. I move to recommend said article.
Second,
A roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
I'll abstain. I think we should be putting this one off till the fall.
Michael, aye.
I really resent a simple copy edit not being accepted, and I think I'm not going to vote for it.
Okay,
Helen,
Otherwise, I really support it, but it was so easy for you guys
Helen,
to have this on the warrant. No argument. You can't argue with my vote. Sorry. Thank you.
I'll do whatever you want, Helen. That's fine.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Next one.
Next one, I think, would be the Agricultural Commission. And let me go in a different direction here now.
Michael,
This-
through you to Helen. Helen, you don't want to, on town meeting floor, say
Michael
you
sent
turned
me
it down
a-
for a
No, I
typo.
don't.
Okay,
You got it.
It's
So-
a good article. I told you that. I emailed you. Never mind. Let's keep moving.
so I'd just like to call a vote to replace this on the warrant with the other article. I think it's important that people know if they're gonna have a debate about the charge or the content or what the SAB is actually gonna vote to recommend or not, that it be clear and there's enough information that they can have that debate. If it gets changed on town meeting floor or voted down, that's the way that it is. But I feel like I've addressed the issues that were brought by the board and by the Shellfish Constable. So I'd just like to take a vote and see if we will replace this. So I'm just gonna make the motion.
I would make an amendment.
What is it? I promised Harry that we wouldn't amend these.
Yeah.
things.
Well, I mean, you didn't really address the concern. So it would be promoting agriculture and land-based aspects of aquaculture, economic opportunities for the town of Wellfleet, so long as they have no substantial, or you don't even need the so long as they have no substantial adverse effects at that point.
Yes,
Why?
it's a better
That was
way.
Nancy's concern, not yours.
It's also my concern.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it in there. Anyways, at this point, I think we should, we're late in the hour. We've been through this several times. And if you don't want to vote to recommend it or place it, that's fine. I just would like to call the question on it.
I made a motion to amend.
Okay, does anyone second that motion?
Second,
Okay, so to be clear, what's the amendment?
It's the second bullet point, promoting agriculture and land-based aspects of aquaculture opportunities for the town, period.
Not aquaculture-based economic opportunities?
Land-based aspects of
okay.
aquaculture.
Okay,
So like deer yards and
does anyone want to, okay.
I would second that.
So that would disclude promoting aquaculture-based economic opportunities. That would that would disclude promoting aquaculture-based economic opportunities in the town. Like,
No,
In the
No.
harbor, it
would
would,
be-
but we already have the SAB, that's part of their charge.
so roll call vote, I can't support
Okay.
that. I
What-
think,
so please clarify what the amendment is or isn't.
The second bullet point where it
Yeah.
says promoting agriculture and starting at and land-based aspects of aquaculture, economic opportunities for the town, period.
so it would exclude water-based activities of aquaculture.
Yes.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And also, I promise, Harry,
Mike,
Hands up.
Respectfully, we went over all this, so can we just,
let's just vote to place it or not place it.
no, the motion was
Motion's on the
to
table.
amend.
Okay,
It's
roll
been
call vote
seconded.
to amend it. I can't, there's a motion made, there's a roll call vote to amend it. I'm gonna vote no on that. But go ahead, everybody vote.
I would like to speak to this, Mike. I've had my hand up politely for a while.
Helen,
Hey,
Fine.
everybody else got to talk.
go ahead, go.
The biggest agriculture area that we have in town is aquaculture. It should definitely be included. And I think Nancy's suggestion, which I support, should be included. And I think that the pursuit of land-based agriculture in Wellfleet, it should just be agriculture, because that is our biggest agricultural industry.
For whatever reason, I'm
Thank
only
you.
getting about.
That's
half
all
of
I
this.
wanted to say.
Then vote against it.
The amendment, I'm going to have to vote against it. Sorry, Ryan.
Okay, so the motion to amend is on the table. Roll call vote.
Janet, nay.
Justina, no.
Michael, no.
Helen, no. Sorry.
Okay, it's gonna be up to SAB. They can vote to not recommend, and then it'll go to the taxpayers. To the voters to decide. I mean, and it could be amended on the town meeting floor as well. So I move to place the Agricultural Commission.
Well, you want to substitute this for the existing one.
Yes.
You
I
already
moved to
placed one
substitute, you're
Tuesday.
I move to substitute this article, Agricultural Commission, onto the town meeting FY21, the 2021 town meeting warrant.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Ryan, no.
Michael, aye.
Helen, I.
Okay, motion carries 4-1. I move to recommend the Agricultural Commission said article on the 2021 town meeting warrant.
Second,
Okay, roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Ryan, no.
Michael, aye.
And I'm not going to recommend it. Helen, no.
Okay,
Even though I appreciate the change of language. Thank you.
okay. Motion
Okay.
carries 3-2.
Okay, the last one that I am aware of is the ADU. Now, let me get rid of this one and oh, come on, sorry.
While you're looking, may we please see what I offered, because there are two major inaccuracies in it. This isn't just copy editing, okay? It's not just copying editing. There are two errors in
Ellen,
it.
can you,
Ellen, please, for 1 second, let me just explain. I begged Terry to add this language under the condition that we would not go into drafting. There are no errors in here that are substantive enough to not vote to place it. And so Harry should not have to go in and edit anymore.
Hold on, we just did that with another article. And just to let you know,
I want to make a
it's
motion.
not the Board of Health that inspects for C of O.
The health
the
agent
health
is
agent.
of the Board of Health, Helen. It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. The Board of Health does not inspect for C of O.
Charlie,
Yeah.
please. Charlie's got his hand up. I'm recognizing Charlie.
So remember too, as long as it's within the 4 points corners of the article, we can discuss it at a future meeting and amend it on town meeting floor if these are minor, housekeeping items. So I just offer that as an alternative so that we don't lose Harry. Because if you're stuck with me, you're in big trouble. So.
I move to place the amended language, including the language from town council, onto the town meeting warrant I don't think we placed the other one yet. Is that correct?
I have no
Where's,
idea.
where's,
I've been carrying it in the draft for weeks, so I thought we had, but
Okay, so
Either
I
way.
will replace the article.
where's the amended language?
Let's see, Ryan, I sent it to everyone today. Did you get it?
I'll check. I don't think so.
I sent it to everybody. to do
Well,
too.
yours is copy editing, which is driving.
No, it's two major changes that are inaccurate.
I'm not recognizing you right now.
Okay,
You haven't seen the actual document that I sent you around,
No, I have it.
We're
That's
referring
the
to
ag
the one by
commission.
KP Law.
literally just placing some of the recommendations from town council into the article, almost verbatim. There's no substantial changes, but go ahead and take a second to read it and make sure you're comfortable with it.
So this isn't the edited one because the edited one has affordable under table of contents, affordable line through.
Harry, I sent Harry the drop-in if we do approve the
Okay.
thing, so I have taken out the strike-throughs for Harry,
All right, okay.
so that he didn't have to do that later. So,
Okay.
it says it's hereby deleted.
yeah,
Is hereby deleted.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, good. All right. So as long as we're all in the same article, I would certainly approve this and recommend it.
okay. I move to replace the article accessory dwelling units with the amended version with town council's comments included into the town meeting warrant.
Second,
Motion's made and seconded. Can I have a roll call vote?
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, aye.
Helen, no, and now I'm gonna leave. Thank you all, I'm done.
Okay. Helen. Okay, I move to recommend the article, accessory dwelling units, as amended in the town meeting warrant.
Second,
Okay, the motion's made and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, aye. And Helen's gone, so that motion carries 4-0.
Okay, that's the last of the town meeting warrant changes I'm aware of. Next issue I'm aware of is that $2,500 budget request floating around from the Public Access Committee. I'm not sure I've got the name of the committee exactly right.
Let me see if she's on here.
She is. Rich Polly has his hand up as well.
Rich Polly, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I need to go back to Article 10. There's just a little misinformation in Article 10, funding for paramedic training program. And the article requests money out of the ambulance fund, but there is a effect on property taxes description. And that has no effect on property taxes. It's coming out of an existing fund.
Okay,
So I just want to clear that up for, to clear that language up.
okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, we're making headway here.
Okay, the Public Access Board question.
Do we have Melissa here?
Yes, she's here.
Oh, hey, Melissa. Okay, so Harry, we had talked earlier and you made a suggestion, and I'm not sure if you'd probably be better at pointing it out.
Okay. Well, I mean, as I understand it, it's a $2,500 request. It's potentially for survey work. And it seems to me that there are three ways that this can be dealt with. One of them is to put another line item in the operating budget for $2,500 for that committee. A second one is to just take note of the fact that we have a $20,000 budget item for consulting requests. And so far, I'm only aware of $5,000 worth of claims asserted against it. So there's money in an existing budget item to fund it. The third option is to say, well, we can't do it this year. So those are three choices. To me, the one that makes the most sense is to say, we already have an appropriation that we can fund this request from. And I've encouraged for 6 weeks now that requests like this should be consolidated in one place so that they can be managed better. So that was my take on it. And, you know.
Okay, so what would be the process for them requesting that funding?
They would speak to Charlie and develop some level of trust that Charlie's going to honor their request when it shows up, if it fits within, you know, broad brush of their charge.
Okay, Melissa, do you have anything, any questions or comments
Yeah.
or information that we might need?
Well, so I just want to confirm, if we want to hire a surveyor, we just have to ask Charlie and he can give us permission without the select board? Is
Yes.
that right?
Yeah, there's a $20,000 budget item for consulting services that's in the town administrator's budget.
Okay. And then the other thing too is some of the other things that we were interested in using the funds for would be signs or fences to just get our work done. And I think you had said that might be through the DPW. Is that
Oh,
right?
yeah, I said that's something that would have to be gone through town departments and requested for a specific purpose. And DPW does most of our sign work in town. So, yeah, I think that I don't know that funding would come from its own place, but I think you'd need some approval to put up signs anywhere on public land. and
Okay.
fences.
And
You
if-
definitely have approval.
If we were to be negotiating with private property owners to help them with their signs or something like that, that probably couldn't come from DPW, could it?
If public funds were going to be spent on it, would have to be approved.
Okay.
Something like that.
And Chief Polly, oh, I'm sorry, he's not with the DPW. If it pertains to safety, both Chief Hurley and Chief Polly would know what to do, but this, sorry, it's not, it's about DPW. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if the town were to decide they wanted to put a sign somewhere, I'm certain that DPW could manage getting that signage together. Or if you needed funding, then that would be another thing where you'd go through probably the town administrator to fund a sign. Or if you wanted to make one yourself out of wood, I think that would probably be all right too, as long as it was approved to put up. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, any other questions?
No.
So I think, for me, I think it makes the most sense what Harry said, to keep this in the consulting budget, and that request from the board go through that town administration to get funded. So there's just a sort of layer of protection for the funding, and make sure that it's appropriate and being used appropriately. But the funding, it exists there to utilize. Ryan, you got your hand up? I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, I just put it up. So yeah, I think it makes sense to come from the consulting budget. But if it becomes a yearly expense, then it would make sense to have it as its own line item in the budget. It's like the other town boards and committees have. So
What's-
thank you.
What's the typical budget for like a town committee like that? And They range from like 100 to,
It varies depending on the committee and what they're gonna do, if they actually have to buy something like a sign, that's gonna be more than a committee that, I don't know. It just,
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
range, okay. That's not outside of the range of what is, yeah.
No.
Okay, all right, yeah, so I think if the board, I guess we'll sort of take a vote on that budget as to whether to leave it in the consulting budget or to allocate it to the committee at this point. And, obviously that might be something we could do in the future, but I would move to keep the funding in the town administrator's office under the consulting budget.
All right, second that.
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Tina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. 4-0. Helen's off.
okay.
Okay, yeah, Melissa, just feel free to reach out to Charlie on issues when they come up so that you've got a proposal and a clear demonstrated use for the funding, and I'm sure there'll be not too much of an issue. Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thanks. Okay, Harry.
Okay, operating budget. Right now, the operating budget totals, gosh, $21,673,707.69. I fixed a couple of things. The actual county retirement assessment is about $52,000 lower than Heather had carried it. They had the TA's suggested budget had $1,576,000. The actual assessment's $1,522,000. So I've lowered it to $1,522,000. That pulls $53,800 out of the budget. I also got from the Cape Cod Regional Technical High School Business Office, a business manager, the actual assessment figures, and they're about $8,000 higher than the figure that I had been carrying. So what this means is that the parts of the budget that you hadn't actually done anything with were mostly the general administration items. And so I don't know whether you want to look at those line by line or whether you want to approve the operating budget as we have it now. Just for planning purposes, right now, I'm showing a deficit of about $82,600, which there is a caveat, I don't know whether there is any flexibility in estimated receipts that would reduce that number. I also don't know whether there are any FY21 budget adjustments that would require appropriating money, which could raise that number. But in any event, as long as it stays in the $100,000 range, the worst thing that will happen is we will have to think about taking $100,000 out of the stabilization fund this one time. And really, that's kind of the best that I've been able to do, looking at this thing for a month now.
Okay, Charlie.
So, thank you. My recommendation would be to ask the board to vote on the total that Harry had recommended. And then I would just say to you that starting next week, I am going to be sitting down with all the department heads, with Lisa Sauvé, our interim town accountant. Just going to take a look at all the budgets, give a little more scrutiny to it. We'll also spend a little bit of time looking at local receipts and some other factors, state aid. And then, within the motion at town meeting, we can deal with some final issues, but at least we have another, we have a month, right? Whatever, I forget what month this is.
Yeah, you probably have, yeah, close to that.
Yeah, so we have time, so that'll give us an opportunity to work on this, but keep it simple for tonight. So, thank you.
So would you
Yeah.
like a motion to approve the operating budget as presented by Mr. Turkanian?
Harry, can you repeat the, what the final total was for the operating budget?
It is 21 million. Where to go?
Right there.
21,673,707.69.
Okay.
Okay. So, Harry, we had talked before about the police cruisers and the potential for them to fit back in the budget. That's something maybe we can just deal with at town meeting.
Yeah, what I had said was, assuming that this deficit can either be eliminated or remains manageable, I think it would make sense, given how dire that need is, to look at the stabilization fund to address that department need. Now, by leaving the article as it presently is with a debt exclusion, I think you're still free to make a motion at town meeting to fund it in a different manner if that turns out to be possible. So if we can, if the numbers work out so that we can fund that either out of the stabilization fund or some other fund balance that makes sense, then we could do that at town meeting, and then the debt exclusion question would become moot on the town election.
Okay.
So we'd have some flexibility to do that. And hopefully we can do that because, in my judgment, that need has gone unaddressed for too long. And it's a diminution of the town's public safety response capability, and it's serious.
Yeah, so my preference would be, and I don't know how possible this is to move this into the budget now, given that our deficit's so much lower, and take it off the ballot question, just to reduce the number of questions that are on there, if the board is going to be willing to do that anyways. But if there's too many unanswered questions to do that, I'd certainly be advised otherwise. But I think if we're going to do that, and the board's going to do that, regardless of small changes in the current deficit, and we're going to be borrowing from stabilization to fund the overall operating for this one-time thing, that these cruisers, that maybe the question shouldn't be on the ballot, just given that, a large percentage of voters don't go to town meeting and do go to the ballot box. Sometimes it gets, how many questions do we have right now, Harry?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Ow.
Well,
Yeah.
depending on whether you choose to consolidate some, but there are 12 separate articles, I believe, that call for, 11 call for a debt exclusion, and a 12th one calls for an override.
Yeah. So, so I'm inclined to push to move these back to where they belong in the budget, but Chief Hurley has his hand up.
No, Mr. Chair. And again, thank you tonight. I mean, I know this is the 11th hour and we're all tired and stressed from this. If I could just throw a few anecdotal things out. Yes, I am very concerned about the amount of questions. Early voting will be taking place on this. So commencing beginning of June, voting will start on this before town meeting. Right now, typically when we get the authorization to spend, it takes us 2 to 3 months to order and build out a car. Right now, that's been pushed to 3 to 6 months. So at the moment, if all went well, we're not going to be seeing these cars until the end of the calendar year. If town meeting doesn't go well and we have to push this into the fall, I won't see those cars for about a year. So I'm not trying to hit the alarm tonight, but these cars are aging. This is their office. I mean, this is where the officers spend a majority of their shift. These cars are on the road 24/7. This is not an extra or a gimme, or can we have something new to try to work with? I mean, to me, as Ryan and some others have mentioned, I mean, this really should be an expense. I mean, I kind of feel like some of my expense line is up for election here. But anything that can be done is would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, my inclination is to move this back into the budget. I think, looking at the deficit and where it was prior to Harry doing so much work on it. And I don't know how much more work this makes for you, Harry.
Not a whole lot. That just becomes a line item in the capital budget.
So
And
what's
Article 11 goes away.
what would be the total amount for those cruisers? Do we have that number on hand? Just
100,000 is what's in the article.
100,000?
Yep. And Mr. Chair, I will work with that. And if there's an overage, I will take that from my expense line. I will make this happen any way possible.
And how does the board feel? Ryan?
Yeah, so I do think that does need to be moved back into the operating budget. And then my question there is mostly around how to fund it. So through you to administration, could we have an override? And then if that fails, could we fund it by a different source?
I think the answer to that is no, Ryan, because you vote. The article currently, if it's moved as it's printed, is a vote to borrow the money to pay for it. And it's conditioned on the debt exclusion. And if the debt exclusion fails, the whole project fails. You can't go back and say, oh, I can find another place to get the money. You've got to start over again, I think. I don't know if Charlie has a different perspective, but I think once you've committed to borrowing it and you don't get the debt exclusion vote, you're dead.
Well, I think we could try to write a conditional motion at town meeting floor, but I think it gets confusing.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, please.
Yes, Chief.
It's the fire chief.
Yep.
Harry has done extraordinary work in the last month, and I mean extraordinary work, to cut our deficit from what we thought was $900,000 down to less than $100,000. He has done fantastic. He's done all the heavy lifting here. So these cars need to be replaced. My strong suggestion, respectful suggestion to the board is to put those into the operating budget for the two cars. And if we have to take $250,000 out of stabilization to balance it out, I'm quite confident we'll be able to get that back when free cash does get certified. But these cars need to be replaced. And I don't want to take a chance on the ballot. And this isn't my department, okay? But that's how strongly I feel about it. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel the same way, which is why I brought it up. And I think, even if we were to do it on town meeting floor, I think it's important to get the items off the ballot. This belongs where it belongs in the operating budget and
Capital budget.
Sorry, in the capital budget. It belongs in the capital budget. And the other issue is that, the only reason why these things were pulled out was because of our free cash, our lack of certification of free cash. So it's not that the money's not there. It's just a matter of having that money certified, and hopefully we will have that. If not before town meeting, then at some point, and we'll be able to repay stabilization fund. Confident in that. So Justina, and then Dan Silverman.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're probably ready to make a motion and move it forward.
Okay. Danny Silverman.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if at all possible, try to get the motion in the form that you wanted rather than trying to monkey with it on town meeting floor. That would be my request.
Yeah, so I move to place the 2 police cruisers into the capital improvement budget and off the town meeting warrant for debt exclusion.
Is that the right motion?
All you have to do is move, yeah, go ahead. All you have to do is move to move the 2 police cruisers to the capital budget.
Okay, I move to move the 2 police cruisers to the capital budget.
Second,
Good.
Okay, roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Christina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's, that'll be huge for us. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a big deal for the town, so we need to have cruisers that are operating, especially in the in our
Okay.
Thank you, Chief Hurley, for all the hard work your department does.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thanks for your
Now-
support.
Okay, now operating budget.
Yep. So so now this is everything's been moved to the select board's operating budget now. That was from,
Yep,
so we're making a motion to approve the select board's operating budget.
yep.
I move to approve the select board's operating budget.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Christina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Just a quick note, I'm aware of 1 transfer in the current fiscal year. I think Suzanne needs $45,000 out of the beach fund to go to beach department salaries and wages. That doesn't change any of the budget forecasting because it's a transfer within existing funds within the current fiscal year, but so you don't have to vote on it, but it's going to show up on the warrant under that Article 2, which is the current fiscal year adjustments. It's the only one I'm aware of right now. So that's just information only for the board. Okay. Last thing that I need you to do is to take votes on Prop 2.5 overrides. And just to give you a little background, what the statute says is that if the town wants to assess additional money as an override, that question has to be placed on the town election ballot by a majority vote of the select board. And at town election, if it's approved by a majority vote at town election, then that additional money gets added to the levy limit, and therefore you can raise that by taxation. That's for overrides. That's the first paragraph here. The second paragraph, and that's the statutory form of the ballot question. But what you really need to do is to, if you're going to do this specifically with the fire department personnel, is vote to assess an additional $168,080 for a purpose of funding additional fire department personnel. Hopefully we can get these ballot questions reviewed by bond counsel before 3 o'clock tomorrow, but and then all of the other items are debt exclusions, and the debt exclusion is a little different. That statute, that's the form of the vote is a little different. There's no dollar amount in the ballot question. It's a question of whether the town will exempt from Proposition 2.5 the amounts required to pay the bond issue, and you've got to state the purpose. So here's the state the purpose part of the question. This is placed by a 2/3 vote of the select board, and if a majority at town election vote to approve it, then the debt exclusion is approved. Now, I did this a while ago, so I don't have ones, maybe I did. So police cruiser one's gone. But we do have, if you want a debt exclusion for the portable radios, if you're going to borrow for that, you need to vote to do that. It's up to you. You can mix and match any way you want. So you can either do an a la carte separate ballot question for each item, or you can lump them all together, or you can break them up into whatever groupings you feel you're comfortable with. But you've got to address each one of these some way, and it's got to be a 2/3 vote of the select board, which I think at this point may mean all of you. And yeah, I did put the IA septic systems in here. So I've got possible votes for all of them. But so you've got to, this is the last thing I need from you tonight.
Okay,
So if you guys can address this, we're good.
okay, so I haven't really had a chance to look at this list in its full form. But I'd be inclined to maybe put a couple of these things together as questions. Ryan, you got your hand up? Why don't
Yeah, it's just a question on this. This is for the annual town warrant, correct?
Town election, yes.
Yeah, yeah, town election warrant. And then do we, after we go through all these questions, do we approve the warrant for the election as well, separately?
Well, I think you have to do that, but I don't have that document. And, you know, so what I'm going to end up having to do is take whatever you decide on these questions tonight and huddle with Rebecca and Jennifer and put together a town election warrant. Ultimately, you guys are going to have to sign a couple of documents tomorrow.
Yep.
Yep.
Rebecca's got her hand up.
Rebecca,
Hi, sorry. So this is what I have to tell you. Yes, you will have documents that you have to sign tomorrow. The constable is coming in to sign at 2:30. And all of the documents will be in the at the select board office tomorrow, and the warrant will go out to print at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. But the constable is coming in at 2:30, so if you guys can get in there, or we can use your stamps, it's up to you. Before 2:30, the constable can sign it and we're good to go.
you have permission to use my stamp. I will be maybe on the tide by.
I figured as much. That's why I put it out there.
And Rebecca, how early can we come in and sign? Will they be ready?
You can be there. I think I have most of it. So if you're there anytime after 9 a.m., you're good to go.
Okay,
If
great.
that works for you guys.
It does.
Okay. All right. So as far as the number of questions here, Harry, did you send us this document?
I did not send it to you. I can.
I'm inclined to reduce the number of questions on the ballot. I don't know if the rest of the board feels that way, but if we can consolidate some of them that are sort of linked together and reduce the number of questions, I think that that's probably better.
I think so too, but we're really out of time, and I'm not going to ask Harry to do that.
Yeah, and I don't even know which ones would necessarily be appropriate to lump together, except for maybe the wastewater one.
Yeah, I was thinking the wastewater
But
one.
the rest of them should probably be separate because they're, unless you do the DPW.
I mean, DPW is a candidate.
Yeah.
The two wastewater ones are a candidate.
Yeah.
And that just really takes getting the two purposes out of two separate ballot questions and sticking them in one question. So I really just have to combine them. I just have to cut the purpose from one and paste it into the other.
So that's no big deal.
No big deal.
Okay, so I'm inclined to do that, to put the wastewater ones together and the DPW ones together. And that would give us how many questions? I know it's kind of like a thing about, you know,
Okay, well,
who
let's
cares
see.
how many questions it is, but I think it matters.
Radios, Marina Response, DPW pickup, that's 3. Mayo Creek is 4. Bakerfield is 5. Main Street Engineering is 6. Wastewater is 7. Are you going to include Lawrence Road in that or just those two?
No. That
No.
should be separate.
Lawrence Road is 8, and then you have 1 override question for the fire department.
How's the board feel about doing that?
Simplifying
It simplifies it, but it does put things at risk with
in
other things.
grouping. Yeah, I think it's important because I think it'll be less confusing to people. I think, yeah.
I mean, I tend to think that like, there's some risk that like you lose some support because somebody might not like something, but there's also the people who want something and are willing to vote for the other thing. So I think they sort of cancel each other out. Jay Norton, you on here? Let's hear from Jay.
Was, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you very much. I just had a question. If the DPW projects are looped into one question, does that mean if it doesn't pass, then they all don't pass?
That's what that would mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Or nothing.
I'm a little concerned about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a couple questions that we could put together in there and take out the ones that are I can't see the whole document.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Rebecca, if you could put the 2 pages on one, but I don't know if you
Well,
can.
hang on. Let me see what I can do here. I'm just going to do a little cutting and pasting here real quick. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Sorry. No. No. This is what happens when you rush.
Yeah.
Things don't, okay. Okay, there's the first one.
So there's no numbers in here.
No,
And like the roll-off truck is really expensive and the marina boat, the response boat is really expensive, but they're mixed in with lesser value. And I just see the town voting for the lesser value ones.
That was my concern also, like, well, let's just take out the big chunky ones because
Yeah.
expensive and we'll give them the plow truck, you know?
And all of these are really important. I mean, the Mayo Creek revetment.
Yeah, I would almost prefer just to leave them all separate as a little
Yeah.
cleaner for the voter.
Yeah.
There's not really a great obvious grouping except for maybe the wastewater and the DPW. And the problem with the DPW is you get both on there and then you have a large dollar
Yeah.
amount for the ballot question.
So I think we're just going to really have to sell the town on funding these.
Yeah, there's been times in the past when the DPW has had several large dollar warrants and one passes and one doesn't.
Yeah.
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 You know,
Yeah, that would be my
additional
preference. If
personnel.
we could keep them separate, I would respectfully request that from the board.
Yeah. All right. So I would say that let's keep them separate. And then what would be the proper motions that we have to make here?
I think you need a separate motion on each ballot question, unfortunately.
Okay.
Since Harry's doing this, I just want to see the total list before we
Okay,
vision, since he spent
all
the time
right.
copy and pasting all these together for us.
Yeah, okay, well, hang on a second.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that's it. The first 9 of them are debt exclusions.
There's the radios too.
Yes, there are. Okay. Yeah, PRB, this is a debt exclusion. And the IA systems is also a debt exclusion. So that's the total list.
Okay.
And
I mean, in my
Oh.
experience, this is a lot of ballot questions.
yeah. They're yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. So
Yeah, yep. We really can't put this stuff off. So can I make a motion to approve the, make a motion to insert the debt exclusions and the one override? Can I make it all like that as one motion, or do you really want them all separate?
Do each one.
I'm a little concerned because
Okay,
I don't know to what extent the DOR scrutinizes these things. They may scrutinize them very carefully.
okay. Charlie's got something to say.
Jay Norton has something, and
Okay.
then Charlie. Jay, do you have your
Yeah.
hand up still?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Sorry, I just wanted to make a brief comment. A lot of these projects came out of our capital improvement plan. So, you know, the CIP is lacking with DPW projects, and they got transferred over to warrant articles. But I don't know why that happened, or if that was just to try and balance the budget. But that's why there's so many there, I think.
Yeah. No, I know.
So what is the proper motion here for the debt exclusion?
Charlie's got his hand up too.
Charlie, go ahead, Charlie. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charlie.
So, yeah, I'm just a little bit worried because I think Harry's right. You know, one, the DOR will look at it, but two, I'm worried that bond counsel is going to look at it. So I think I'd like to have, I'm sorry, but a vote on each one of them.
Yeah, okay.
That's referenced in your minutes.
For each one.
And they really have to be, for them, except for that personnel override, they have to be unanimous because we need
The 2/3.
2/3, yeah.
2/3, sorry.
Just what is the right motion for them? Like what's the proper wording?
I move to place the portable radios on the 2021 town election warrant.
As a debt exclusion.
As a debt exclusion.
Exclusion.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Tina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It's
Okay, go for it, Michael.
I move to place the Marina response boat on the 2021 town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Tina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. I move to place the DPW pickup truck with plow on the 2021 town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Okay, motion carries 4-0. I move to place the DPW roll-off truck on the 2021 town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0. I move to place the Mayo Creek revetment engineering, or we just call it Mayo Creek revetment, on the 2021 town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
22.
No,
it's more 2021 annual town election.
Oh,
2021 town election warrant. Yeah.
Second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Yeah, it's so hard to go back and forth between FY and
Yep.
fiscal year and the
Was that all four of you?
Yes.
Yes.
4-0. Yes.
Okay. Bakersfield,
I move to place the Bakersfield baseball backstops on the town the town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0. Okay.
Route 6 Main Street,
I move to place the Route 6 Main Street engineering on the 2021 town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Okay. I move to place the Commercial Street PRB as a debt exclusion on the 2021 town election warrant.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0.
IA septic systems,
I move to place the IA septic systems on the 2021 town election warrant.
Second.
Town election
Oh.
warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second. Yep.
Okay.
Janet,
Roll call
I.
vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Okay, I move to place the Lawrence Road Treatment Plant on the 2021 town election warrant as a debt exclusion.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, I move to place the fire department additional personnel on the 2021 town election warrant as a override.
Second,
Charlie, do you think we need the dollar amount in this vote
In the press fire one?
for the override one?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Roll call vote.
We need a dollar amount,
it's
so,
in there.
no,
It's in
no, oh, in the motion.
in the motion.
Oh, for the amount of $168,000, $168,080.
Yes, second,
Roll call vote.
Janet, I.
Justina, I.
Brian, I.
Michael, I. Motion carries 4-0.
Okay, that is the end of my laundry list. I apologize for beating up on you guys tonight, but
You really didn't.
I just had to get it done and
Yep.
there just
No.
was no more time to pussyfoot around it.
And thank you, Harry.
Thank you, Harry. No apologies at all.
Yes.
We appreciated it.
We
Our
wouldn't be here
hero.
without you, Harry. Honestly, I don't know where we'd be.
Have we
Harry
missed-
has done extraordinary work here, extraordinary work in
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah,
Extraordinary work in 5 weeks. And
Have we-
it gives me a good sense that we can take to the town meeting with confidence that we are in good shape with all our issues we're dealing with.
Did we miss anything, Charlie?
I think we're good.
Okay,
And I just want to say that you all said it, but man, this is a Herculean thing, and because I've done it like 40 times, and I retired because I never wanted to do it again. So hats off to Harry. That's all I can say.
I know.
it's brought back in vivid focus why the week after the warrant went to the press, I always went on vacation for a week.
Yeah.
Now I remember why.
Woo! Yay, Harry!
Okay, well, thank you all.
You
And
should
I
have
will
remembered
work with
that
Rebecca
right
and
when
Charlie to
Mike
get
asked for the
this.
favor.
Rebecca and I and Charlie will get this ready for prime time tomorrow.
And
Thank you very much.
will this warrant be available at the same time as the town meeting warrant?
Yes,
Right.
yep.
Okay.
Jennifer and I will get it done for you guys tomorrow. It'll be ready because the constable's coming in at 2:30 to sign everything.
All right.
Okay, I will coordinate with you, Rebecca.
So I have one final thought, that these warrant articles, the overrides and debt exclusions, we are really going to have to sell them. And I'm not sure with COVID, although COVID's being lifted, but maybe the forum or something, but we're really going to have to sell these overrides and exclusions to the
Yeah,
town.
I mean, we'll see what happens. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this was, I just, again, I'd just like to point out how hard everyone worked and how short a time span they had to pick up all the pieces and put it together under the current circumstances. These budgets and warrants are usually something that's began at the beginning of the year. And, you know, it was about, you know,
Yep.
a month and a half ago that we came from a real rough draft to this. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an inspirational story of the Wellfleet team stepping up.
Yes.
Danny's got his hand up.
Yeah,
go ahead, Danny.
yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, just for the board and to Janet's point, the forum has already asked me to host a pre-town meeting on, I believe it's Monday, it's June 14th. So the select board, if you didn't already know that, put that on your calendar as well. And that'll be an opportunity for the board or any other proponents to, again, as normally I don't allow debate at that meeting, but it's an opportunity to explain what these various proposals are in a pre-town meeting setting.
That's great. Are we doing it on Zoom or?
Yes, that'll be virtual.
Okay.
Could be in person if we want it. Just, or
That-
hybrid.
That's kind of up to the forum, but
Yeah.
right now I think the expectation is that that's going to be
I do too.
a Zoom.
Well, maybe we'll get more people to tune in, you know?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
We heavily advertise it.
Okay. Well, I move that we adjourn so Harry and Charlie can go to bed, get their work done.
Well,
They go to work now.
Yeah.
Second,
no, I don't.
Before we adjourn, well, go ahead, Ryan.
I don't think we can adjourn yet. Right.
We have a couple things. Just select board reports, town administrative reports. So I don't know if Charlie has anything or if the board has anything.
I'll just say that a quorum of the select board appeared at the planning board meeting, and that was noted ahead of time. So thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, I had asked Rebecca to list that as a quorum.
Yep.
The select board on that meeting. Anything else from the board? No. Charlie, do you have anything for us? What's going on?
Just one thing. I'll include something in writing. But I did interview Mary McIsaac yesterday, and Mary, as a retired municipal finance person, a lot of accounting, treasury experience on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Harry participated in the meeting along with Rich Annabue from Eastham has been assisting us, and Lisa Sauvé. And anyway, she's got a tremendous amount of experience, and she'll be starting. She and Lisa are going to be meeting tomorrow, and they're going to develop a work plan, how they would attack the issues that we all have facing us. And then I'll write that up, and probably won't get to it. Probably won't really be able to finish it till next week, but I'll write that up so that I can share that with the board and the public, of course. about what our strategy and our approach is going to be. And, I'm going to move right away and have Mary start working with Lisa and I next week. Time is critical, right?
Yeah, that is really good. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, and I will just say that I'm really excited about having both these women working on this problem. As Rich said to me, Charlie, this is an A team, and I don't include myself in that, but with Mary and Lisa, this is an A team. So.
Do they come with a van?
I do have to say, from talking to both of them, they both strike me as extraordinarily capable. So I'm optimistic that we'll get a good product from them.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I'd just like to remind everyone or anyone who listens to this meeting that we will have a meeting with our auditors on next Tuesday. The 25th, is it?
I think so.
The
Yep,
date-
25th.
Yes, yep.
These days have been blending together lately. So, yeah, May 25th. So,
And I also wanted to tell you, Mia Baumgarten and I are doing a PSA for town meeting on Monday, and it will air on the channel, on like the local access channel, so people understand what to expect when they get to town meeting. And we're going to go a little bit into the election and what to expect on the election ballot as well.
Well, thank you for doing that. And Mia's not on here, but thank her as well.
Okay.
okay. Well, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
moved.
Okay,
Seconded.
roll call vote, please.
Janet, I.
Christina, I.
Ryan, I.
Michael, aye. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yep,
Michael,
thank you.
Ryan, Justina, everyone who I left out.
We made it on the 11th hour. I mean,
Woohoo! And only an hour and 17 minutes in. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, I'm really impressed.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jan, you're almost right.
All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Harry, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, Harry, thanks for pushing me to get things moving quickly on this meeting, because I know you have a lot to do.